Hi there, students. To pretend, a verb. Pretense, the noun. Okay, to pretend is to behave as if something is true when you know that it's not true. And you do this either to trick people or you do it to have fun. Pretending is something that kids do the whole time. I see a kid takes a stick and the kid pretends it's a gun, or the child pretends they are a soldier. So they are pretending, they are imagining that this is true, and they are playing a game of pretense. But this is something kids do the whole time. They imagine that they are something else. A kid pretending that they are an astronaut going to the moon. And that is to pretend. But very often people, adults, use pretense to trick people, to deceive them, to get their money. So he pretended to be asleep and he watched what was happening. Okay, I pretended that I was ignorant of the fact. So I said, I don't know anything about this. In fact, I knew very well what was happening. So to pretend that something is true, to claim that something is true when it's not. This channel, the videos I make, they don't pretend to be for beginners. So to pretend to deliberately behave as though something is true when it's not. So she was pretending to read her book, but I watched her, and over half an hour she never turned a page. So this is to act as if. Sue acted as if nothing was wrong. She always acts as if she's pleased to see me. She always pretends to be pleased to see me, but I'm sure she's not. Okay, so to pretend. Okay, she always makes out that she doesn't have any money. She's always pretending that she doesn't have any money, but I know she does. To be putting it on. He's not upset at all. Those are crocodile tears. He's putting it on. He's pretending. So to feign interest, he's pretending to be interested. He feigned illness. Oh, I'm too ill to go to work today. He pretended to be ill. Okay, this is to pretend. You could pretend to be something. So I pretended to be the person on the credit card, and I went into the shop and tried to buy something. So notice, to pretend, you know it's you're perhaps playing a game. Now you could have a pretender. A pretender is a person who claims to be the ruler of a country, although they're not recognized by the government. And there have been various pretenders throughout history. There have been all sorts. There were various when Charles I was executed by Cromwell, his son Charles II was proclaimed king in Scotland, but he wasn't the king in England, so he was a pretender. Okay, there have been various pretenders. Bonnie Prince Charlie was a pretender. Lambert Simnel, he was a pretender to the throne of England. He pretended to be Edward Plantagenet in the 15th, 16th century. Perkin Warbeck claimed to be the Duke of York and tried to invade England in the 15th century. A pretender is somebody who's pretending to be the king or somebody important. So to pretend, to make believe, to feign, to pretend surprise, to simulate, to sham, to counterfeit. In English society, you have to pretend to be happy with everything and not be affected by anything. I don't pretend to be an expert. We rented a boat for the day and went down the river and pretended we were on a world cruise. So to pretend, he pretends to have gourmet tastes. He's saying that he does, but it's not true. Pretend has this idea of something that's not true, it's not real. To make believe or make it appear that something isn't the case when it's not. To lay claim to a quality. He pretends to be sophisticated, but he's not. He cannot pretend to be sophisticated. And then pretense as the noun. This is just a pretense. This is imaginary. Yes, you give a party for your dolls. You have a pretend tea party, and you pour out the tea for Jemima, and you pour out the tea for Susanna. Okay, a pretend. I don't pretend I have any knowledge on the subject. Okay, so to pretend, to behave as if something is true, to give the false appearance. I don't pretend to be a psychiatrist. My granny's a little bit deaf, but not very much. And when you say something she doesn't want to hear, she pretends to be deaf. Okay, to pretend, to falsely assert. This is true, and don't pretend otherwise. Pretend, fake, feign, sham, dissemble, simulate, counterfeit. Okay, so to pretend. Often people pretend to despise, to hate things that they can't have. I'm tired of having to pretend all the time. I don't want to pretend I don't know when I do. Don't pretend that you love me, because I know you don't. So pretend, 5 informality, use it absolutely anywhere. From Anglo-Norman prétendre, Middle French prétendre, to claim, to demand. From Latin praetendere, pre before, and tendo, to stretch out. So pretend.